Here's the press conference that got Kyrie Irving suspended for 5 games or maybe indefinitely.
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid dealing with learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility. Then that's where I sit. So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and then I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my expert opinion. You guys ask me about other things, I give you my opinion, and it's met with whatever you believe the perception or the deception is. You guys investigate my life every day, and you justify it by serving your own purpose, which I honor. I would like the same respect in return, figuring out just like anyone else. So please keep that same energy when we're talking about anti-other things, because just because I post a documentary doesn't mean I'm anti-Semitic, and doesn't mean that I'm automatically standing with everyone that is believing in that. So it's unfortunate timing that we're in, but I'm glad that I could stand on the truth, because I'm not afraid of these mics, these cameras. I used to be looking everyone in the eye and telling them the truth, but I'm proud of who I am. Any label that you put on me, I'm able to dismiss because I study. I know the Oxford Dictionary, you look it up, right? It's one of the biggest mistakes I had in being a kid was not knowing European or Western language until I started looking it up and understanding the definitions and why they say, if you want to trick a black person, put it in a book. I was wondering my whole life why they said that. Now I'm 30 years old and I know reading is a superpower because it helps me understand where I'm going and where I come from, like a tree with roots.
Here's the first thing that you need to know about the situation. The Nets never wanted Kyrie Irving. And I'm not talking about this year when he surprised everyone, including the Nets, by opting into his contract for his final season. I mean, the Nets never wanted Kyrie Irving. The only reason that Kyrie Irving is on the Nets is because of Kevin Durant. That's who they wanted, but it was a package deal. Durant wanted to play with Kyrie, so if you wanted to get Kevin Durant, you also had to sign Kyrie Irving. It's very similar to when in college, the guys recruit the 5-star recruit, but he's like, hey, I might go to your college, but my boy here, who is a 1.5-star recruit, if you give him a scholarship, that'll help your chances. We've seen that happen multiple times. You've seen a guy, he likes a girl, but he's trying to impress her. He's trying to win her over. So she has this friend. Her friend is stuck up. Her friend has a bad attitude. He doesn't like her friend, but he lets her come along on their dates or their vacation. Why? Because he wants the prize. the girlfriend. He wants this girl to be his girlfriend. So he takes on all of this other baggage. That was the Nets. So that's where we start at. We start at a position where the Nets actually never wanted Kyrie Irving. And just think about anything in life that you never wanted, but you ended up with. How do you normally feel about it? If you was poor, like me back in the day, and you had to buy a hoopty, you didn't love that hoopty. Maybe that's why you threw, your McDonald's, quarter pounder packages in the back. You know what I'm saying? If you buy a car that you love, that car is spotless, right? That car doesn't have any streaks on it. It doesn't have any French fries on the seats or anything like that. But if it's just a hoopty that you don't want, there's all type of stuff in there. No telling what you might find in that glove compartment. That, once again, is the Nets. That's the important part that you need to remember. They never wanted Kyrie Irving. From the day that Kyrie Irving stepped on the court, they had problems with him because they never wanted him. This would be totally different. This was Kevin Durant, but this is somebody that they never wanted. So when you go through these seasons that they were together, Kyrie has been hurt. There was a situation, of course, with the vaccination and him not wanting to get vaccinated. They didn't really like that. They didn't want to give him a long-term contract because they never wanted him on the team anyway. And then you finally go to this year where, without telling them, he opts into his contract. So he's basically forcing them to keep him on the team. Nobody wants to trade for him. They want to keep Kevin Durant happy, so they're trying their best to keep Kyrie happy. And then, this happens. This happens. And what is interesting about this situation with Kyrie Irving, I think it's totally different from Kanye West. People try to put them together, but I think it's different. And I tell you why. Kanye has a history of talking down about Black people. He has a history of working with white supremacists. So when Kanye says certain things, to me, that's just adding on to what he said before about us. Kyrie's a little different in the sense that you feel like at this time in his life, he has been enlightened about a lot of the injustices that is going on within the Black community, a lot of the injustices, what's going on with the indigenous people of this country, a lot of just the general injustices about America. His eyes have been opened that America is an unreliable narrator, and he wants to spread that message to other people. He wants other people's eyes to be open to what he's seeing. The problem is, of course, in the process of trying to enlighten people, sometimes you're using messages, you're not understanding the entire message that is being put out there. It's one of those situations, the message versus the messenger. For instance, Jason Whitlock could say something every once in a while that makes sense, right? But if you promote him, then you're promoting all of the other stuff that he says that's terrible. And that goes with Fox News and Trump and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and all of this stuff. They may say something that makes sense to you. You may agree with one of their points or two of their points, but you have to understand when you bring that to the table, when you promote that on your platforms, the other points, the ones that you disagree with, those are the ones that are going to get latched onto. And I think this is something that Kyrie and others really have a hard time understanding. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't feel, and you've seen Dr. Umar. Look at Dr. Umar right here.
Richard Jefferson, I sentence you to 500 lashes for conduct on becoming a black man. Stephen A. Smith, I sentence you to 4,000 lashes for conduct on becoming a black man. Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, I sentence you both to 2,500 lashes for conduct on becoming a black man. Michael Wilbon, you fat, bald-headed, no-neck midget, I sentence you to 3,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man. Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp, you're the biggest and strongest of everybody on the list, so I'm gonna have to sentence you for 10,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man and saying that no black woman can make you happy. 10,000 lashes for Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp. Who else we got on this list?
So Dr. Umar is giving out lashes to black media for being critical of Kyrie Irving. And I think this is a little bit more nuanced type of situation here. I think you have to understand as black media, that doesn't mean you always have to take the side of black players or black individuals. I think what it means is you have to be able to cut through the BS and be able to fairly and unbiasedly speak on a situation without going too far for your clicks, for your hot takes, for your TV ratings. You have to also look at yourself in the mirror and say, what have I done in these type of situations? And should I be throwing stones if I live in a glass house? And what I mean by that is, yes, you can clearly say that Kyrie should apologize for some of those messages and what he put out there with the movie and the book and everything. But on the flip side, you have to speak on why is Amazon and Jeff Bezos profiting off this book? Why does the NBA, the NFL, MLB, NHL, all these other leagues, why are they taking such a harsh stance on what Kyrie is saying about Jewish people, but they take a softer stance when it comes to racism? You see what I'm saying? These companies, these organizations, these leagues. You see what I'm saying? Kanye said a lot of bad stuff about black people, and he never lost a dime. He never lost a dime. Instead, his wealth actually grew. So if you talk bad about black people, that's not a problem. You talk bad about Jewish people, all of a sudden they're trying to kick you out the league. They're trying to take your money. They're suspending you. They're making you go through all of these, hoops to get back. You have to apologize. You have to give the money back. You have to do all of this stuff, all of these things to get back. But when it's racism, then, they don't keep that same energy. But once again, we have to be objective and unbiased. One thing that black people hate for white people to do is when there is a topic at hand for them to bring up other stuff. And what I mean by that is, let's say a cop shoots a black kid. We see it on tape, we see it on video all the time. And then you hear white people say, what about black on black crime? What about Chicago? What about this? What about that? Nobody likes whataboutism, okay? Nobody likes that. So you have to understand that with Kyrie is that you have to understand that you can't just say, well, yeah, Kyrie did all of these things for the black community. That's not a shield for anything negative that he says about a different community. I think what the problem is in media is that we don't keep that same energy overall. So it seems like there is an imbalance, and that upsets people, especially upsets people of color, when we see people dragging us routinely and we don't get the same type of action. We get a lot of inaction from the leagues, these corporations, these businesses, and things like that. This is a very nuanced, topic. And people at times don't think about what they're actually doing. You look at somebody like Shaq, right? Shaq's a good guy. He always does, charitable type of things. But, he also decided to take in Papa John's. And we know what Papa John's was about. Now, people gave Shaq some grace for that because they said, hey, this is a business opportunity. Maybe he can make Papa John's, better. But on the flip side, you can say that all he cared about was the money. Shaq can invest in a lot of different type of pizza companies, but he chose to invest and get on the board of Papa John's. Glass houses, stones. These are things that we have to think about. I'm not here to change your opinion. I'm not here to support Kyrie. I'm also not here to bury Kyrie. I'm here to get you to look at things from a balanced perspective. So when you give your opinion, you have all the facts and not just using your feelings. I'm out.